Good evening, and thank you for joining us. In an abrupt U-turn in its postal policies, the United States has resumed accepting parcels shipped from mainland China and Hong Kong. Many residents said the situation has been confusing and disruptive. Frontline postal staff in Hong Kong remind the public that their U.S.-bound parcels may be subject to tariffs. In many post offices across the city, no special notices were posted about the latest arrangements for shipping items to the U.S. This amid a U-turn in the U.S. Postal Service, which has resumed deliveries from the Chinese mainland and Hong Kong. The suspension was in place for less than a day. This woman said it's very chaotic and confusing, and people can only know whether they can make shipments when they reach the post offices in person.
It's tough. The world is becoming a bit crazy these days.
The U.S. Postal Service said it is working on a more efficient mechanism to impose the new tariffs. The U.S. also ended a policy that allowed small packages worth $800 or less to be sent to America without paying taxes or fees. The Hong Kong Postal Workers Union said they're telling citizens wishing to ship items to the States after today it's unlikely small-ticket U.S.-bound parcels could be shipped tax-free. And if the recipient of the parcels refuse to pay the tariffs, the package may be returned to Hong Kong. Some courier companies have indicated that there will be surcharges for parcels destined for the U.S. This company that designs eco-friendly products has to send their samples to American clients. Its CEO said the impact has been huge as their clients might switch to suppliers in Southeast Asia or Europe to avert policy uncertainty. Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development Algernon Yao said Hong Kong Post will follow up with U.S. authorities on the policy with appropriate postal arrangements to help residents and businesses. The World Trade Organization confirmed that China had formally launched a dispute over tariffs slapped by U.S. President Donald Trump. Beijing has accused Washington of making unfounded and false allegations about its role in the fentanyl trade. Danny Zhou has details.
Donald Trump's executive order of imposing a broad-based 10% tariff on imports from China went into effect on Tuesday. The White House said Chinese officials failed to take action to stem the flow of fentanyl smuggled into the U.S. Some experts delivered a counterblast to the claim, pointing out China is one of the world's toughest countries on counter-narcotics. They said the Trump administration has made China a scapegoat on the fentanyl abuse problem in the U.S. On Wednesday, the Commerce Ministry in Beijing said it had brought Trump's tariffs hike to the WTO dispute settlement mechanism and called it discriminatory and protectionist. A spokesperson said the measure violates WTO trade rules, undermines the multilateral trading system, and disrupts the stability of global industrial and supply chains. She said Beijing is willing to resolve the issue through dialogue, yet stressed corresponding countermeasures will be taken to firmly protect its own rights and interests. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent defended Trump's measures. He said in an interview with Fox News that tariffs are a means to an end for bringing the manufacturing base back to the U.S. Some Federal Reserve officials warned of potential implications brought by Trump's tariff salvo, including a rise in local inflation. Meanwhile, CNBC reported that a number of U.S. car makers must swallow tariff costs in auto parts. Ford's incoming CEO said the company could adjust its strategy and build manufacturing plants in the U.S. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
China's antitrust regulator is preparing to possibly investigate Apple's policies and App Store fees, according to Bloomberg News. This comes a day after China announced measures targeting U.S. businesses following President Donald Trump's new tariffs on Chinese goods. The State Administration for Market Regulation is reviewing Apple's policies, including its commission of up to 30% on in-app purchases and restrictions on external payment services and app stores. Shares of Apple were down 2.6% in U.S. pre-market trading. Chinese regulators have been in discussions with Apple executives and app developers since last year. The Panama Canal Authority denied the U.S. State Department's claim that United States government vessels would be able to cross the canal without paying fees, ratcheting up tensions after President Trump threatened to take back control of the crossing. The Canal Authority, an autonomous agency overseen by the Panamanian government, said it had not made any changes regarding charging fees or rights to cross the canal, adding its statement was in response to the U.S. claims. The U.S. State Department had earlier said that Panama's government had agreed to no longer charge crossing fee for U.S. government vessels. Trump had also accused the Central American country of charging excessive rates to use its trade passage. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to move all Palestinians out of the Gaza Strip would be ethnic cleansing. China's foreign ministry said Beijing is strongly opposed to the targeting of the people of Gaza. Tracy Furness has more.
The Palestinian ambassador to the United Nations welcomed the widespread global opposition to U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to move all Palestinians out of Gaza.
We need to rebuild the Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip is a very precious component of the land of the State of Palestine. It is part of our homeland, and we don't have a homeland other than the State of Palestine. So therefore, we are not looking for other homelands or other countries. For those who want us to have a happy place and safe place, we will be delighted to return to our homes inside the State of Israel. This is where we originally were, kicked from. If they want to do that for us, we will welcome it. But short of that, Gaza is part of the State of Palestine.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that the war in Gaza must come to an end and the rights of Palestinians must be honoured, adding that the world has seen those rights steadily slipping further out of reach. He also believes Trump's proposal to move all Palestinians out of the Gaza Strip would be ethnic cleansing and says only a two-state solution can bring stability to the Middle East.
In the search for solutions, we must not make the problem worse. It is vital to stay true to the bedrock of international law. It is essential to avoid any form of ethnic cleansing. We must reaffirm the two-state solution. Any durable peace will require tangible, irreversible, and permanent progress toward the two-state solution, an end to the occupation, and the establishment of an independent Palestinian state with Gaza as an integral part.
Trump's advisers sought to temper concerns about his plans for Gaza, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying it was not meant to be a hostile move. And in the interim, people are going to have to live somewhere while you're rebuilding it. Adding Trump's proposal to take ownership of Gaza and develop the area should be seen as a generous offer. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
President Xi Jinping today met with Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra. She appreciated Thailand's efforts to combat cross-border crimes and noted that both sides should strengthen cooperation in law enforcement and security. He said this is to ensure the safety of people's lives and property and maintain smooth exchanges between regional countries. Paetongtarn said Thailand is ready to beef up ties with China and crack down on online gambling and telecom fraud, including cooperating on a warning system to fight crime. Starting from Wednesday, the Thai government reportedly cut off electricity, fuel, and internet to 5 Myanmar border areas linked to cyber scam centers. Welcome back. The Development Bureau said it has approved an additional 935 quotas for its labor importation scheme for the construction sector, reaching a total of more than 9,100. Timothy Lee tells us more.
Since its introduction a year and a half ago, Hong Kong's labor importation scheme for the construction sector accepts applications every quarter. In its latest announcement, the Development Bureau said it accepted 7 applications in the 6th round of the scheme. This as some of the imported laborers filed complaints about being exploited during the recruitment process. Authorities addressed the complaints by introducing 4 new requirements targeting recruiting agents. In the future, contractors must ensure that agents fulfill labor protection requirements and that agents are barred from requiring payments from imported workers. Agents in charge of handling the workers' living quarters and transport cannot be responsible for the recruitment process or personnel management. And the main contractor must arrange for senior management personnel to oversee the imported laborers. Tang Yuqi, the vice president of the Hong Kong Institute of Construction Managers, believes the new measures will not add pressure on contractors. Meanwhile, the Hong Kong Construction Industry Employees General Union said authorities should consider halting the import of any additional laborers. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
3 people were injured after a private car crashed onto a pedestrian island in Cheung Wan. A female student was initially trapped between 2 vehicles before she was sent to the hospital. A 33-year-old male driver was arrested on suspicion of dangerous driving. Timothy Lee again.
The 14-year-old student who sustained serious injuries was conscious when sent to Princess Margaret Hospital, but was required to wear a neck brace and oxygen mask. Footage provided by viewers showed another 14-year-old girl suffering from arm and leg injuries after the crash while waiting for medical assistance. Police officers were checking whether there are other injured individuals beneath the vehicles. Both cars involved in the collision sustained serious damage. Authorities received reports at around 1 p.m. of a black private car crashing into 3 people on a pedestrian island on Sham Shui Po Road, after the motorist was suspected of having lost control of the vehicle. The driver then drove to the opposite lane and crashed into a white vehicle before stopping. A 29-year-old male pedestrian was injured besides 2 female teenagers. Parts of Henghua Street was cordoned off due to the accident. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
The Chinese University of Hong Kong has established a new school of interdisciplinary mathematical sciences, merging with AI, computer sciences, big data processing, and machine learning. Take a listen. The Chinese University of Hong Kong has established the Zhizhen School of Interdisciplinary Mathematical Sciences, aiming to cultivate world-class math talent in Hong Kong. That's one of the new projects of CUHK, with its Vice-Chancellor Dennis Low just having taken office.
Mathematics is really the heart of many different subjects. I believe actually if we have a group of such talents in Hong Kong, this would be a very powerful nucleus to build other things like artificial intelligence, deep learning, etc.
The 8-year training program will include 3 years of math foundational training, 2 years of scientific research, and 3 years of doctoral training. The initiative is spearheaded by renowned mathematician Professor Yao Xingtong, who will serve as the school's founding director.
50 years ago, Hong Kong has produced many accomplished scholars. Some of them earned the Nobel Prize. But in the last 30 years, we have not seen that many. This will be the effort of the government and also the university.
The first cohort of students is set to enroll in academic year 2025 to 26. 10 students will be local, while 30 students will be non-local. Prospective students will need to take an exam administered by the school in collaboration with Tsinghua University. The school can also make special admission of exceptionally talented students who have not taken the Hong Kong Diploma of Secondary Education exam, or Gaokao, the National University Admission Exam. Jacqueline, TVB News. A group of graduates and researchers from the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology obtained America's FDA certification for their medical device last December. Their project was supported by HKUST and other investors. Individuals can now check their health by using a monitoring system developed by the startup company. Mimo Sangai reports.
Maintaining a healthy lifestyle has become a goal for many individuals. To monitor their health, some people undergo body checks in hospitals or other medical institutions. With the aim to help the public check on their health more easily, a local artificial intelligence company has developed a mobile app which contains a health monitoring system. The app can detect users' different health indicators in 30 seconds, including heart rate, breathing rate, and stress level. The company said the system uses non-contactless-based technology, also known as RPPG. This is more advanced than the contact-based method, PPG.
Our RPPG makes use of the surrounding lighting and also the sensor of a camera. Because RPPG is remote further away, the signal that we get is actually much lower. A contactless technology that is accessible on your smartphone. Over 70% of the world population now have a have an adequate smartphone that can run our technology.
In December last year, Wong and his team received a FDA certification for the application of software as a medical device. The company said they had to pass a series of clinical and non-clinical trials before obtaining approval.
And there we had over 300 additional data points to check whether makeup has an influence, whether the distance, the lighting for males, if they have facial hair, if that would impact the results.
Wong added the team will carry on providing services to residents through their business partners, including hospitals and elderly centers.
As one of their future expansions, the team said they will continue to apply for certifications in the U.S. as well as other countries. Memos 9, TVB News.
Before the giant panda twins greet the public next week at Ocean Park, Hong Kong media had a sneak peek today with the cubs. Take a look. After a morning of playtime, the panda twins settled down for a power nap around noon. The older sister yawned and dozed off at the treetop. Napping in the middle of the tree trunk was her younger brother, in quite a balancing act, as he almost lost his grip before adjusting his position. The cubs were born on August 15th last year. The twins started out weighing only 100 to 120 grams. Now they tip the scales at about 11 kilograms, with the younger brother slightly heavier. How to tell them apart? There is a purple mark on the young brother's back, which is an edible dye daubed by Ocean Park for clear identification. The younger brother also has darker eye circles and a rounder body shape, with his fur slightly darker. The older sister sports eye circles that curl up at the ends, resembling eyeliner, with slightly messier neck fur. Their panda pavilion also features a swing and a slide, plus a new bamboo wind chime that makes sounds to help the twins adjust to noises from visitors. Past noon, the cubs woke up from their slumber and it's playtime again. Their mother Ying Ying is close by, ready to nurse them when needed. For now, the twins are called Big Sister and Little Brother, but a naming competition is on the way. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.